Survival rifles aren't a flex, they're a logistics plan, and a sexy precision build won't save you when mags, parts, or ammo dry up. I'm gonna call out 5 rifles and rifle types that'll straight up fail you in a real survival scenario, then show the one platform I trust to actually keep working when everything else goes sideways. What's up? I'm Luke from Line 45. Today, I'm walking you through those 5 pitfalls, exact models, and why they suck for survival, and finishing with the practical rifle I'd stake my kid on. Before we dive in, do me a solid. Smash that subscribe, tap the bell, hit all the dang buttons down there. You don't gotta, but it keeps this train rolling and lets me crank out more of this wild gun talk for you all. Alright, enough of that. Let's get back to it. Precision boutique bolt guns. Boutique precision bolt guns, such as the Accuracy International AX, Surgeon Scalpel, 591, and Defiance Deviant, look unbeatable on paper but become liabilities in a sustained survival scenario. I say these specific models because they prioritize ultra-fine accuracy, 2-stage triggers, and match-grade thin-walled barrels that demand precise bedding and chassis interfaces. Those factory choices produce tiny groups at a distance but create repair problems you cannot solve with duct tape, basic tools, or scavenged parts. The AI-AX family frequently weighs in the double digits and uses chassis systems and folding stocks optimized for bench stability rather than long miles of carry or quick field maintenance. Surgeon 591 rifles routinely ship in the 12 to 14 pound class with Palma or heavy match barrels and an integrated chassis that complicates quick part interchange. Defiance machine. Deviant actions are machined from high-grade, stainless, and chrome moly, with integrated rails and tight headspace tolerances, which is fantastic for precision, but poor for improvisation. I say this from practice and observation because survival is logistics, not bench bragging. Predictable failure modes include scarcity of compatible spares, reliance on a narrow class of factory match ammo, and platform designs that complicate basic fixes like bedding, headspace, or magazine interchange. Tradability matters in every scenario, so plan accordingly. For long-term resilience, prioritize platforms with common parts, simple barrels, and maintenance routines that a competent shooter can perform in the field. Carryability, common mags, and ease of repair beat marginal accuracy when supply chains collapse rapidly. Semi-autos with proprietary magazines or weird magwells. Rifles that lock you into proprietary magazines are a survival trap, and 2 of the clearest examples are the classic Steyr AUG and the older FAMAS F1 variants. I mention these specifically because both historically used unique box magazines instead of common STANAG patterns, which means you can't just grab a spare off the shelf or borrow one from a buddy. That lack of magazine commonality becomes a logistics problem fast when supply chains fray and aftermarket support is limited. Proprietary magazines also tend to be single-source and sometimes fragile. The AUG's translucent waffle mags and the famous F1's 25-round steel mags are not things every parts counterstocks. Field problems get worse when manufacturers change designs or armies move to NATO standard feeds, leaving older mag types hard to replace. In short, if your rifle needs a specific mag that only a few vendors make, you've created a single point of failure that's avoidable. My practical advice: prioritize platforms that accept STANAG or widely available pattern magazines, or, at a minimum, buy a lifetime cache of spare mags for any rifle you plan to rely on. Train with retention, magazine changes, and clearing malfunctions so you can do them blind. If you already own an AUG or FAMAS, consider conversion kits that accept common mags or carry a generous mag kit for that specific rifle. In survival, redundancy is king, and shared magazines are one of the easiest redundancies to secure. Don't gamble on uniqueness when commonality wins every time. Bullpups with awkward ejection or exotic controls. Bullpup rifles can be compact solutions, but in a survival scenario, their quirks become liabilities I avoid. With the action and ejection close to the shooter's face, spent cases and gases are nearer your head, which raises noise and irritation and increases risk if something fails. Many bullpups require disassembly or bolt swaps to change ejection direction, so switching shoulders or borrowing a rifle from a lefty is not simple. Industry reviews flag ejection placement and proximity to the shooter as core ergonomic compromises of the layout. Beyond ejection, the manual of arms and reload ergonomics differ from conventional rifles, and that matters under stress. Magazine changes happen behind your support arm, so muscle memory for fast reloads is different and often slower for shooters trained on AR or standard bolt layouts. Trigger systems in bullpups often use transfer bars and long linkages that degrade trigger feel compared with direct sear designs, reducing precision on rapid follow-up. Clearing malfunctions can be fiddly because the action is inset into the stock and not as accessible for quick inspection or emergency manipulation. Training fixes some issues, but training is a consumable resource in disasters. Some modern designs address these issues with downward or forward ejection and better ergonomics. But those solutions are not universal and can add engineering complexity that hurts long-term serviceability. For survival, I prioritize platforms with simple, widely understood controls, easy magazine access, and parts that are readily scavengable in austere conditions. Big bore, single-shot, break-actions rifles. Single-shot big-bore and break-action rifles, such as Thompson divided by center encore combos and heavy custom break-actions, look simple and dependable, but they fall short as primary survival tools. These guns force a single precise engagement followed by a manual reload, and in realistic survival scenarios, you need rapid follow-ups, quick target transitions, and the ability to engage multiple threats. The operational tempo of a long bug-out or defensive retreat punishes slow reload cycles and heavy recoil, limiting second-shot effectiveness. On the positive side, break actions have few moving parts, straightforward takedowns, and are often easier to field strip and clean without specialized tools. However, true big-bore cartridges generate recoil that increases shooter fatigue and reduces practical accuracy over repeated shots, and many of those rounds are less common on the market than mid-size rifle cartridges. Ammunition scarcity matters for resupply and trade value during extended logistics disruptions, so choosing a rare big bore reduces your options when you need to barter or scavenge ammo. Given those trade-offs, I treat single-shot big bores as mission-specific hardware for deliberate big-game hunting or for a designated heavy shooter, not as an everyday survival rifle. For a one-gun survival plan, you want repeatable follow-ups, magazine capacity that supports multiple engagements, and use of common calibers that are widely available and easily shared among teams. Practical balance is why I do not rank break-action big bores as the last rifle you should rely on. They are excellent tools, just not the right core choice for long-term resilience in austere, resource-poor conditions. Heavily converted platforms. Exotic caliber rifles and homebrew Wildcat conversions look cool on a bench, but they are a straight-up liability for a survival plan unless you're packing a reloading shop and a lifetime supply of brass. Wildcat cartridges are not standardized by SAMI or CIP, which means chamber dimensions, pressure data, and safe load recipes vary wildly, and often require a gunsmith to confirm headspace and throat dimensions. Factory ammo for many big game and Magnum cartridges has also proven unstable in recent years, and when shelves tighten, you do not want to be stuck with a rifle that nobody stocks ammo for. Real-world shortages have hit a bunch of otherwise common hunting rounds and Magnums, so relying on rare or boutique calibers multiplies your resupply risk. Conversions can be useful when done properly. Pro shooters and some military units have adopted formerly Wildcat ideas, like 3-100 Blackout or 6.5 Creedmoor, after industry standardization. But that's the exception, not the rule. Conversion kits and oddball rechambers introduce reliability pitfalls, headspace variance, extractor fit issues, and feed geometry problems that show up under stress or with dirty, mixed-condition ammo. My practical take is simple. If you want resilience, stick to common factory-supported calibers or be brutally honest about your logistics. Can you reload, store brass, and fabricate parts if needed? If the answer is no, don't bring a Wildcat or obscure Magnum into your one-gun plan. Stockpile safe, proven ammo types, and spare parts instead of chasing marginal ballistics and headline-grabbing velocity. The rifles I actually recommend for survival. I back a conservative AR 15 inches 5.56 as the one-rifle survival plan because the ecosystem exists everywhere. PMags and GI pattern magazines are abundant and interchangeable across most AR pattern rifles, and aftermarket support for bolts, springs, gas blocks, barrels, and charging handles means you can jury-rig repairs with basic tools. Choose a forged mil-spec upper and lower from reputable makers, and you get a platform where barrels, bolts, and many wear parts are standardized and widely stocked. I recommend serviceable examples like a BCM Rex 16 or similar mid-length upper, an Aero Precision or Daniel Defense style upper mated to a mil-spec lower, a quality mil-spec bolt carrier group, and Magpul furniture. Use a mid-length gas system to soften impulse and reduce carrier velocity. Prefer nitride-treated barrels to resist corrosion and fouling, and keep the gas key staked and torqued. Pack spare springs, a spare firing pin, a spare gas block clamp, and several PMags. The survival value is parts commonality, ammo availability, and user serviceability. 5.56 gives practical hunting options on medium game at typical ranges, low recoil for fast follow-ups, and a huge factory and surplus ammo base for trade and resupply. Train basic armorer's work, practice mag changes and malfunction clearance, and carry a tiny armorer's kit so you can swap a gas block or replace a buffer spring in the field. Do that, and an AR in 5.56 outlasts niche precision rigs when logistics get hard and friends need to borrow a mag. That combination is practical, proven, and reliable.